Hi, I'm Morgan Abel.
And I'm Chloe Krosick.
We are in Midland's HOSA at Papillion La Vista Health Academy. Our chapter number is 33016. We are competing in medical innovation. Our project name is Safe and Sound Sleepmobile.
And our project consists of a fancified baby mobile that has sensors and cameras to track the baby's breathing and can alert the parent when the baby stops breathing or has abnormal breathing, so we can prevent SIDS and recognize respiratory distress syndrome.
Wow, that was a refreshing nap. I love to sleep.
Me too. I'm so glad we can sleep rest assured that we'll wake up in the morning.
Isn't that a given for most people?
Not for anyone under the age of 8 months. That's when risk of sudden infant death syndrome is highest, and respiratory distress syndrome is a problem that can seriously endanger a baby, especially during sleep.
I wonder if there's a way we could help.
And scene.
That was us before we started this project, and now we do have a way to help. Our medical innovation is a baby mobile with a twist that can help catch SIDS and RDS early. But before we get into how we achieved that, let's take a look at what exactly we are preventing.
The problem, as we already have defined, is sudden infant death syndrome and respiratory distress syndrome in infants. According to data collected by the CDC in 2018, these two syndromes claim nearly 2,000 infant lives.
SIDS is characterized by the death of a newborn during a sleep period due to an unknown cause. The little research we do have on SIDS suggests that it starts with the infant ceasing respirations for some reason and then failing to arouse itself to start breathing again. This excludes SUIDS deaths, which are deaths during the sleep caused by rebreathing and asphyxiation due to unsafe sleep. There are no symptoms for SIDS, which makes it even more difficult to prevent. So far, the only way to fight it is if you are following safe sleep precautions or lucky enough to catch what is happening.
Respiratory distress syndrome can also affect all infants, but is more common in those born preterm. It's caused by a combination of underdeveloped lungs and a lack of surfactant, both of which causes the lungs to collapse and makes it more difficult for the infant to breathe. Unlike SIDS, there are some symptoms that we can look for to identify RDS. The two most common are irregular respiration rates and retractions, which are characterized by the pulling in of skin around the collarbones and under and between the ribs while breathing.
With the knowledge of signs and symptoms of SIDS and RDS, we decided that an effective device would be needed to track respiration rates, whether or not there were retractions, and also have a way to tell if the child stopped breathing completely.
For this purpose, we chose to utilize ultrasonic sensors, which work by sending a harmless, inaudible sound wave from the device, which then records how long it takes for the wave to bounce back from the target. The device can then interpret that time as a distance. For our purposes, the coding of the device's computer would subtract one time and distance from the next so as to find the displacement. There are 6 total sensors on the mobile centerpiece, which we've deemed the camera sensor complex. The sensors are pointed at the diaphragm, the stomach, one under each bottom arch of the ribs, and one just above the center of each clavicle.
Since a baby's breath originates from the diaphragm and stomach, the 2 sensors pointed at these areas will provide a reaction of movement stops for more than 10 seconds. Any pause in breathing below 10 seconds can be attributed to periodic breathing, and this is normal for infants.
The reaction to an abnormal stopping of respirations is an alarm push notification to the parent's phone. A secondary reaction could be playing a tone from the mobile to arouse the baby, but this feature is optional and can be toggled through the app.
The last 4 sensors are programmed inversely in that their reaction is triggered not through a lack of movement, but through the presence of it. Since these sensors are aimed at where retractions generally occur, movement in these areas may signal retractions, a symptom of RDS.
The reaction to movement detected by these sensors is an alert in the app. If this is repeated, the app will suggest a doctor's visit to address the issue.
The second part of the camera sensor complex is the camera.
The camera serves a double purpose, one of which is assisting in the calibration of the device and positioning the baby so the sensors are aimed correctly, and the second of which is to record any incidents that may be leading up to SIDS.
The second half of our product is the app, which we've broken down into 4 categories or screens, which are the stats screen, the education screen, the product screen, and the emergency screen.
The stats screen is what the parent will see when they first open the app, since this is the primary feature of the product. It will display both numbers and graphs for hourly and average respiration rates along with a retractions tracker.
The education screen will provide explanations for the information found on the stats screen, along with which numbers are concerning and which may constitute a trip to the pediatrician. This screen will also include some basic information about SIDS and RDS and reminders about safe sleep protocols.
The product screen will contain troubleshooting tips and videos and tutorials for setting up and calibrating the mobile. This page will also have the toggles for those features that are optional.
Finally, we'll have the emergency screen. This screen will automatically open if the baby stops breathing and an alarm on the parent's phone is triggered. It would be used in the worst case scenario of the parent not being able to arouse their child in order for them to start breathing again. The emergency screen contains audiovisual step-by-step instructions for infant CPR.
We want the app's cooperation with the device to provide the best possible consumer experience for the parent, which brings us to our next topics of cost, consumer care, and product comparisons.
On top of having an easy-to-use app, there are several other considerations we take to make our innovation the best it can be. Firstly, although the regular price of our product is $50, if the parent has a script from their pediatrician stating that some outstanding circumstance puts their child at a higher risk for SIDS or RDS, they can receive the product at a discounted rate.
Secondly, our mobile will be available in all different colors, so a parent never has to give up the aesthetic of their nursery.
As for how our device compares to others, there are several important distinctions that set us ahead.
First, it's important to recognize that as of now, despite there being many products that claim to prevent SIDS, none of them are FDA approved, which puts us on a level playing field in that aspect.
Perhaps the largest advantage of our device compared to others is that no component of it is touching or in reach of the infant. In other similar products, it's common to have some part touching the baby, which not only violates the empty crib rule for safe sleep, but also could be dangerous in product malfunction.
A second benefit to our model is that it can be put to use in any room with any crib instead of requiring a certain bed or environment. This minimizes cost and maximizes usefulness by ensuring our customers only have to buy one item to have the full benefit of the product.
Finally, our product would be the first of its kind to not only work to prevent SIDS, but also detect the possibility of RDS.
To summarize, our device could help to prevent SIDS and recognize RDS, which would be to the benefit of thousands of infants. In combination with the useful app, low prices, and a dedication to the customer, our fancified mobile could be a game changer in the world of pediatrics and neonatology.
Wow, all that talking sure wore me out. I think I'm ready for another nap.
I agree, and I sure will be sleeping a lot more soundly knowing that newborns are sleeping more safely.